Alright, so here's the game plan. I'm going through my backlog and completing games 100%. No guides, no handholding, no fuss. Multiplayer achievements will be excluded. As for now, let's head on to our first game. I'm starting off with Firewatch, a game recommended to me by a friend and one that's pretty well known for its story. I won't be going over the choices I made during the intro. I'd rather let you experience it for yourself, or follow a playthrough that covers it in more detail and does it proper justice. The game opens up by letting us choose how we meet Julia. But no matter what path you take, it all leads to the same place, finding a job listing in the paper and heading out to Two Forks Watchtower. That's where we meet Delilah, who greets us in, let's say, a unique way, by immediately asking,
"So what's wrong with you?"
After getting settled in as a Firewatch member, Ranger? Tower guy? Still not sure what the official title is, Delilah spotted some fireworks going off near my watchtower
Are those fucking fireworks?
and told me to go check it out.
You need to get down there right now and stop them.
Naturally, I didn't ask any questions. She's the boss, so I headed down there.
Your job is whatever I say it is.
Things were going fine until I found an old rope in a supply cache. Trusted a bit too much and promptly fell on my ass climbing down something I called Widowmaker. Great start. Eventually I found the campsite with the fireworks, confiscated them, stomped out a small fire, and took their booze as payment. I also had a lovely conversation with our would-be pyromaniacs, which ended about as awkwardly as you'd expect, with them being naked in a lake.
Why do guys think it's alright to just stare at girls?
As the girls were so nice to me, I ended up confiscating the radio as well.
Out here?
No, but that music I hear makes a good case for them.
Yeah, no kidding.
On the way back to the tower, I took a detour through a cave. Ran into a guy holding a flashlight, just standing there. Super normal, not sketchy at all.
Wait, he's looking at you? Is he doing anything else?
When I finally reached the tower again, I ended up opening an old trail that was closed off before. And noticed that the wind had relocated my typewriter.
What can I do for you?
Well, my typewriter is on the ground, outside of my tower.
You right?
Yeah, look, the wind? No. How the hell?
Anyway, I check out the situation upstairs and see that my stuff has been stolen, including my blankie.
They stole your sheets? That's just mean.
After coming to terms with that, I go to sleep and wake up to receive my first achievement. Good first day.
Wake up.
Day 2. After waking up, Delilah lets me know there's a problem with the comms. Something up with the power line. And I'm the lucky one who gets to hike out there and check on it.
I'm awake. What's your problem?
Our problem.
Sorry, our problem.
That storm knocked out the phone line I used to talk to the service, which means we're cut off. I tried radioing out, and that's not working either.
Can I go fix it?
Well, you probably can't, but what you can do is hike out to where the wire runs through your area and report back if it's down. Then I can track down a ranger to get someone on it.
Okay, I can do that.
So, being the responsible and totally qualified forest lookout that I am, I make my way over there and find the wires being cut. Not great. Even better, the air has been littered with the same beer cans the campers were drinking yesterday. Real subtle. Heading downhill, I found an abandoned backpack full of ropes. Finally, some actual gear. And I spot a faint column of smoke in the distance. I report it, and Delilah figures it might be a campfire, or the early stages of a forest fire. Either way, guess who's going to check it out?
I see a campsite, and it looks like they've got a fire.
When I got to the source of the smoke, it was a wrecked camp with a smoldering campfire. Clearly the girls from day 1, and they left a note. Let's just say they weren't thrilled that I confiscated their booze. After reporting everything, Delilah and I agree it's best to just head back to the tower and rest up. That wraps up day 2 and earns me the second achievement. Back to work. On day 3, I agree with Delilah to start doing some actual work.
Okay, I think I am ready to tackle my long-term commitment of keeping this national forest safe from total destruction.
I am glad to hear you've really thought this through.
Of course.
We've issued you a comfy chair to sit in and everything.
You know, it's not really that comfy. I mean, it's wooden and there's no padding. I think I actually got a splinter in my thigh this morning.
Aww. Well, regardless, take a seat. The forest depends on you.
The days start flying by.
You've got a front row seat for what might be the biggest fire of the year.
Eventually a fire breaks out, which I get the honor of naming. Naturally, I call it the Flapjack Fire. No regrets.
She doesn't have a name yet. I usually think of something funny or something practical or a little risque when coming up with them. But why don't you do the honors?
Maybe we call it the Flapjack Fire.
After days of living on questionable canned food for way too long, I decide to head down to the lake and catch some fish. That's where things take a turn.
It's one fish, and I'm sick of all the stuff I got to eat.
No, I won't tell anyone you're a poacher.
Instead of dinner, I find a clipboard lying in the middle of nowhere, with transcripts of my conversations with Delilah. That's not unsettling at all. As I'm trying to process that, I hear strange beeping. I go check it out, and promptly get knocked on my ass as I pick up a walkie-talkie.
Henry? Are you there? What happened, Henry?
Holy hell, I got hit in the head. Punched or something by someone.
When I come to, I vaguely remember seeing the word Wapiti on the clipboard, so I decide to investigate Wapiti Station. Once I get there, I find a fenced-off area with a locked gate. Nothing suspicious about that.
Whoa, Delilah, there's a big chain link fence between me and the meadow. I don't think I can get past it.
Delilah thinks maybe the nearby firefighters could help us get in, so I go searching for their camp, only to find the bridge leading there is totally wrecked. Great.
The bridge to the camp is out.
Damn.
I'm gonna walk the ravine and see if I can find some high.
I take the scenic route and end up finding a fire axe.
That thing is actually called a Pulaski.
It looks like an axe to me.
Which could come in handy. Using it, I cut my way out of the camp and report back to Delilah. She tells me to sit tight in my tower and wait for her next call. Waiting for the next day earns me the next achievement. Someone is out here. The next day, I try reaching Delilah, but she is already ahead of me. She calls me using a very subtle and not at all obvious code to tell me where to hike.
Do you see the tree in the top row, second from the left?
Sure. It's the,
No. You don't need to tell me, just, internalize it. It's a great tree. And there's an area called, that tree's name in your sector that maybe you should take a midday hike to. Maybe.
Oh, yeah, okay. Maybe I should go for a hike.
Nothing like an afternoon in the Rockies, I tell ya. Radio me the moment you get there.
I head to the designated supply cache, where I discover that the usual 1, 2, 3, 4 code no longer works. I ask her for the new code, and she hits me with a
It's 5678.
maximum security, clearly.
I was in a rush.
Inside the cache, I find a new walkie-talkie and ditch the old one. Probably bugged, probably cursed. With my upgraded comms in hand, I head back to Wapiti Station. I break open the locked gate and start exploring, which goes great. Until I open a case and get stung by a bee. And just like that, beat mode achievement unlocked. Yep, that's a thing. Further into the station, I find a weird looking device that turns out to be a kind of signal locator.
Maybe they actually flew it out here in one of those.
After a bit of wandering around and mild confusion, yeah, a lot of confusion. I finally figure out how to use it and discover a lockbox containing documents. Turns out somebody's been building personal profiles on both Delilah and me. That's not creepy at all. I briefly considered burning the entire place down, but decide against it, mostly because one massive fire is probably enough. On my way out, I nearly fall off a cliff and, naturally, watch the entire station go up in flames anyway. So much for restraint. After catching up with Delilah, the day wraps up and I get the burn the place down achievement. The last few days I spent trying to piece together what's actually going on. At some point, the strange device that I've been using as a glorified compass starts beeping again.
This receiver just picked something up.
Like a signal? It's going beep beep.
I follow the signal and find a backpack full of gear, plus a key that goes to the locked door in the cave.
Shit! What? Ah!
Naturally, we decide to head down there. As soon as I get inside, the gate slams shut behind me.
Hell?
Because of course it does. And I'm forced to explore deeper into the cave.
Is anybody down there?
Eventually, I come across an old hidden camp. Turns out it belonged to Brian Goodwin, the missing boy from earlier.
Thing is a little fort. I think it was Brian Goodwin.
Really?
Yeah, he built himself a real castle.
With some climbing gear I find at the side, I descend further down into the cave. And yeah, I find Brian's body. Not a fun discovery. I inform Delilah and make my way back to the tower to get ready to leave the area. The next morning, just before I'm about to go, the device starts beeping again. This time, it leads me to a cassette tape left by Ned, Brian's father, along with a rope leading up to Ned's hideout.
Rival bunker with radios and everything. He made it all up.
You need to get back here. They say the helicopters are making rounds.
Okay. He had quite the view.
Honestly, the guy had a great view. Creepy setup, but cozy. After filling Delilah in on everything, I hike over to Tor 4 Point for one last conversation with her. Also, shout out to the game for bugging out here slightly and giving me a fully bugged out plane. Immersion broken. After the chat, the helicopter arrives. I hop in and earn the final achievement, Firewatch. Now that I've completed my first playthrough, it's time to go back and clean up the remaining achievements. I still need to adopt a turtle for love turds, get attacked by a raccoon for the life and times of Raccoon Carter, fill the camera with photos for Shutterbug, and listen to the tape for Ol Shizoni. So that means starting a new playthrough and keeping an eye for those moments. For the last few achievements, I started a new run and went through the story again. Most of it went pretty quickly. I found both the raccoon
Oh!
and the turtle without much trouble. Except the achievements didn't unlock. Turns out there is a known bug, where achievements don't trigger once you've alt-tabbed out, which I had. Thanks OBS. The Olshizoni tape took me a bit longer to track down. After hearing a beep from the elk and wandering around for a while, I eventually found a gap in the bushes that led to the tape. That achievement bugged too. Luckily, I was able to load a special game mode that let you wander around. Here I could retrigger the achievements so they could show on my Steam profile. Same deal for the Shutterbug one. I fixed that one by reloading an old save and snapping the last few photos in one go. Buggy or not, that's Firewatch, 100% completed. Hopefully you enjoyed my first video. I put quite some effort into it. Maybe I'll document another 100% completion for my backlog in the future. Until then, and thank you for watching.